Let's get it. It's one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. We do not teach you how to rise to the occasion, folks. Teach you how to fall to your level of preparation. Yeah, feeling it. Another 10-mile run today. You know what happened is I sort of had a cheat meal. I won't say cheat meal, but I had a soda. I was at a top taste Jamaican restaurant, a real popular Jamaican restaurant around here. And I had a Biggie soda last night, so felt it important that we add 2 more miles to the plan of 8 miles, so I knocked out 10. Seeing that, you know, I sort of had a setback, if that's what you want to call it. So, yeah, but I have to work that up. It's okay, hey, to slip every once in a while, but you got to make up for it the next day. All right, so all that being said, let's get into today's Move Swiftly thought. Another top five, first top 5 of March, top 5 Tuesday. We're breaking down every single Tuesday. We're breaking down 5 things based upon whatever theme it is I'm talking about this week. And this week we're talking all about manipulation, stemming from a math presentation I sat in on Friday, where we talked a little bit about math manipulatives and figuring out ways or increasing ways to the fucking seagulls kind of caught me off guard there. Figuring out ways to manipulate math and numbers to the kids so that, you know, they have more of an engaging experience in regards to their math lesson. So all that being said, top 5 ways to manipulate people in a positive way. All right, a positive way. Understand, when you're talking about influence and you're talking about actually growing up and being responsible for other folks and making responsible decisions, you're going to have to understand that manipulation is not always a bad thing. Manipulation can be a good thing if you understand the process and are willing to put in the work to actually have the right influence and become a really influential person. All right. So first things first, if you want to manipulate people in the right way, a positive way, you have got to have the right intention. All right? Yesterday, I shared the example of the broccoli and the cookies. You know, you got to have the intention of putting more broccolis in the system, right? Even today, I was thinking about the people that have manipulated me, my mother, every single morning, right? Wake my ass up around this time, look at all these little NFL pictures on the wall and say, hey, if you want to be one of them, your ass needs to get up and run too, right? That was her manipulating me to say, hey, look, you can't be just having these guys on your wall and not be willing to put in the work that they put in. Manipulation. In many ways, manipulation becomes a positive thing because it became a lifelong habit that she was able to instill in me. That was manipulation of the good way. All right. So manipulation, number 1, you got to understand your intention. Number 2, you got to develop a solid system. Now, you cannot have, again, it's all in the process, right? The intention, but you also got to have such a solid system that you know it's going to work. Well, understand, like if you want right now, if you were to buy into the franchise of the McDonald's, they're so sure that you would make money that they charge millions of dollars just to buy into the franchise because their system is so solidified that they can justify charging a person that much just to buy a franchise. All right. So number 2, your system has to be so on point. Number 3, you got to develop your thick skin. Right. This one's big because a lot of people fall. Look, 1 and 2, they kind of go naturally because they go based on the way they're thought. Right. But number 3, you got to develop some thick skin because nobody has something that's for everybody. No person is for another person. Again, you're not going to have something for everybody, and you got to live with that rejection, and that thick skin is going to make it so you can solidify your system so on point, so to the point in which you don't have to worry about it. You don't let the people who reject you, you don't let them get to you to the point where you're getting off your game. All right. So number 3, you got to have some thick skin. Number 4, you need to arm yourself with information. Understand who the person is, who's trying to get in the way of your progress. Again, myself, I shared yesterday a little bit about how myself as a black male, young black male, there's a lot of people who benefit off this stereotype, benefit off this idea that I get angry quickly and that young black men are so quick to get angry and we're always labeled as the problem and things like that. Again, there's a lot of people who benefit from that, but you got to factually give people information to prove how false that really is. All right. That's important. Arm yourself with information. So when the enemy comes and tries to attack your integrity, attack your ethics, then I got the information already in my head. I got the information that's laid out and I've processed it in a way that I can present a potential, some real honest pushback towards whatever bullshit that person says. All right. So, and then number 5, Don't get too high, don't get too low. You got to keep it nice and even. I remember Coach P, my college football, played college football for Stony Brook University, and he would say that at practice. At the end of practice, he would go, look, when you come out here, let it all go. Can't get too high, can't get too low. Understand that this is a lifelong process, a lifetime process. Understanding the manipulation of minds, the manipulation of people. It's a lifelong process, and you cannot get too excited about a certain thing happening, and you can't get too down on yourself when another thing happens. You got to just stay even keel every single day. All right. So all that being said, I'll dive deeper into all these points in the live stream. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this out to anybody who needs it. Everything, all things employee development around here. That is what we do, right? Main website to check out to dive deeper into all that. It's makeyourmove.com. It's MakeYamove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time of day you may be consuming this evergreen material. Again, let me just reintroduce myself to anybody that's new around here. As one Crookshank, I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, current 6-time published author and educator. I created this whole brand, this whole business, this whole platform. It's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and applying them to businesses and business owners so they have a staff and or a group of employees that moves as efficiently as a championship high school or youth football team. All right. Again, all the information that you may need on me is right there on makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. Make sure you go get a copy of the newest book, How to Be a Wintrepreneur. We'll be taking the innovative teamwork, well, not just the innovative teamwork. What the term wintrepreneur means is the entrepreneurial-minded person is aligning with a job that's paying them every 2 weeks, and they've been able to meet in the middle, and they're pursuing their goals together. I've been able to create a system in place to where I'm training all of my people, to become wintrepreneurs, and that is another way of just saying adding value to your workplace. So make sure you get a copy of that. Get on the pre-order list, the actual hard copy book. I'll be doing some pretty cool and neat things with it as we move forward. If you're on that list of people who've already purchased the book, again, all sorts of things that are coming. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this out. This is the platform where we do a lot of great things that make it so you just continuously get better, because you're speaking to the founder, the person that created the platform. As you can watch, you can pull out the receipts, you can pull out the social proof. Every single day is just getting better, regardless of what happened, whether it was good, whether it was bad. We're just out here getting better every single day, improving our craft, working our craft. That is what we do. All right. That is what we do. So if that sounds like you, again, just tap in with me, make sure you subscribe or like wherever you're listening to this from. Make sure you are looking at this every single day, because there's new stuff coming out every single day. All right. So continuing our conversation that we started yesterday, which is how to manipulate people. All right. How to manipulate people. And we debunked this idea that manipulation is only negative, right? I know we only hear manipulation in a way that it sounds negative, and it's always being used in a negative context. But when we understand manipulation from the standpoint of, hey, if you believe in what you do, you believe in what your intentions are about, as you heard me today on the Moose Up, we thought you believe in the things that you're putting out there in the world, and you really look yourself right there in the mirror, look yourself in the eye and say, hey, I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in the result of what somebody's going to get when they decide to make an investment and take a chance on me. That's when you actually are doing something. Okay, you can't avoid manipulation. You can't. See, the problem is, again, too often do people use the term, and you hear the term, and you're conditioned to think that manipulation is only a negative thing. Stop thinking like that. It's the same way of saying, hey, all salespeople are bad, or all, you name the stereotype, is that thing, right? All Dominicans do hair, right? All black men get angry, or all sorts of stereotypes that come with whatever ethnicity or whatever gender you've been raised with, because we haven't actually broken down the word. We haven't actually broken down the word or break down. We don't actually ask the question, why is it like this? Why we cannot actually look at a word, see what the meaning is, and call things right down the middle. All right. So again, manipulation is not a negative thing. When we went in a deeper dive on that yesterday. Today, as we always do on the follow-up Tuesday, is we don't just say, see, here's the thing about what we do around here. We don't just put stuff out there to put stuff out there. There's a system in place that makes it so when you put it out there, I'm giving you the steps. I'm giving you the steps so you actually can apply it to your own life. This is why you need to be investing in our platform for all your employee development. Everything employee development is because I don't just put it out there on a Monday and say, yeah, this was good, this was motivational, and this motivational speaker came in and he did this and there's this sugar rush. No, there's tangible steps, there's ways that you can take a process, take something and say, okay, how do we fix it? There's problem solving. There's problem solving. We take your problems, and we put it in a nice little problem, nice little equation, right? Put a nice little equation and say, this is a step, this is what you got to do. Let's go do it now that you have the template. That's important. That's what needs to get done. You need to make sure you have the template for why things are, for how to solve the problem. Everybody runs into problems. Everybody got bullshit going on, and whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whatever the thing is. But do you have someone, do you go to someone and say, hey, this is this person teaching me how to fix the situation? All right. When you are constantly running into the same problems and the same bullshit, it's clear that the people that you have in place don't want to fix the problem, and they haven't fixed the problem. So that's what we're debunking today. Top 5 ways to positively influence people without being manipulative, but you can manipulate people in a certain way. Again, as I was watching that, I was watching the video this morning. I was thinking about a time in college. I was taking this class. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a media class, some media class I was taking. It was like old media, and this was before social media social media was a thing, but it wasn't a huge thing now as it was. It was like literally kind of in its beginning phase. But anyway, the professor was he was giving a lecture, and he was saying how there was a time where he was talking, and there was a philosophy major in the class, and then he kind of looked at us. He goes, "There was a philosophy major in here, and those they could be trouble." It's one of my concentrations is philosophy, so I was laughing because I could see how a professor, like a typical professor, you get a philosophy like person like me, it's like, look, those philosophy majors could be trouble. It could be trouble. So that's kind of what you're gonna dive into today. All right, it's important that we get the right definition of words, so we actually go about using the words in the right way, and we don't just doubt ourselves. So that's enough intro for now. Let's jump right into it. Right, top 5 Tuesdays, top 5 ways to positively manipulate people. All right, and I chose this image because for those of you who don't know, I do teach. I teach at a school. I'm not gonna put the name of the school out there, but the school is all about taking the integrative. I'm taking an arts integrated approach to education. So we would apply art to a math lesson, a science lesson, social studies lesson. I am actually the sport and fitness coach there. So I'm able to really get creative in regards to how I apply math and science and social studies to a lot of the lessons that we go out there on the sports field. Many times where I would do stretching, I count out the odd number. I count out the odd numbers. They count out the even numbers, stuff like that, constantly manipulating and constantly engaging students in learning so it doesn't feel like work to them and it becomes something that they want to do, right? So that's the main mission of the school. And this past Friday, we had a professional development day. And unlike my colleagues, I actually look forward to those days because I get a chance to interact with some of the other teachers and stuff like that, see what they're doing, because I don't really have partners, anything like that. I don't really have people that I talk to too much at the school. So whenever we have PD days, I'm always kind of looking forward to the lectures, and I'm getting something out of the lectures and whatnot. And it was interesting because we had our math person. I guess I'm not gonna put anybody's name out there, but we had our math person talk a lot about manipulatives and showing little things that engage students in numbers. And she had us do this like math bingo thing and asked us as adults questions like who did a hike for more than 5,000 miles, all sorts of things that she had us doing as adults. So again, this was before she started even working there. I would do this kind of stuff all the time because I'm responsible for the kids after school ends and stuff like that. I would do stuff like this all the time. And there was a time where it was raining and I saw these little manipulatives, and me being the son of an architect, my father's an architect. It was me and several kids that built that thing. You see the box right there? We built that entire building type thing with these little, the name of it is escaping me right now. It might hit me. It was like bridges, some sort of rigid bridges or whatever. But long story short, I got a chance to, show them how to make something really cool with the sticks, Pixie, some type of sticks, some sort of sticks, right? I got a chance to show them how to make some cool. You see the squares right there. You see the solid base. You see they can, check the area, the width, the length, the height, all sorts of things that we were able to do off something that they built. And they were having fun. They were having fun doing it. And I remember actually making a post about it. When it comes to engaging and manipulating younger people, this is the kind of manipulation you want. You want them constantly learning and engaging in things that are going to be beneficial to them, right? So that I had to go with that image. I just had to. I love it too much. It's one of those that is not leaving my phone no matter what, man. I did. It was a great moment. So yesterday we asked the question: Who are you manipulating? We define manipulation clearly: the exercise of influence or control over someone or something, typically in a deceptive, unfair, or underhanded manner to serve the manipulator's own interests. And we challenge the assumption. Right? Because influence itself is not evil. A parent sneaking broccoli into cookie dough. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. A teacher, like we just talked about just now, a teacher using math manipulatives to accelerate understanding, a coach structuring practice to build discipline, right? That's manipulation, but it's influence with positive intent. So today we get practical. If you're going to manipulate, and you're not going to get away from this. You just got to be honest about what you're doing. Here are the top 5 ways to positively manipulate people. All right. So number 1, the intention has got to be bigger than you. All right. Right here is the foundation. Before you even open your damn mouth, you got to make sure your intention is bigger than you. All right. So when a football coach is, pushing you, a football coach, whatever you name the sport, whatever it is, pushing you to go an extra rep, and is saying, hey, this person did this, this person did that. They're manipulating you, but because they know by the time game day shows up, you're going to be ready. By the time game day shows up, you're going to outwork whatever person is ahead of you. That is an intention that's bigger than you. All right. Same thing with the teacher. Same thing with the parent. You got to grab this one. This one you got to grab. You can shut this whole thing off or after this, right? Number 1, your intention. Go get a copy of one of my favorite authors, Gary Zukav, where he talks about intention. Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. He talks about intention. Wherever you're going in life, whatever you're doing, your intention is your steering wheel. You have got, your intention are your engines, not your steering wheel, but your engines. He used the term engines in, I think it's spiritual partnerships. He says your intentions are your engines. Wherever your intentions are, they will take you wherever you're going to go, whether you know it or not. All right, whether you know that's where you're going or not, but your intentions are going to take you there regardless. So you better get clear on what the fuck your intention is. All right, your intention cannot primarily be about you. See, this is the clarity that you get when you give yourself the knowledge, and we're going to get into information in a second here. But when you understand that where your intention is going to be where you're going, that right there is going to put you in a way better place than you were when you're constantly thinking about yourself. Right? You will not. Here's what won't happen. You will not have a product or service that's for everyone. Some people you expected to support you will blow you off. Understand that's going to happen. Rejection will come. This is not for the weak-hearted, which means your why must be something you can explain to yourself in the mirror, to whoever you believe your maker is. For me, that's God. When I manipulate people into seeing me as the one and only Move Swiftly speaker qualified to talk employee development, it's not delusional. It's conviction. It's because I know I'm damn good at it. Number 1. More importantly, I know the system I install will benefit the organization long after I leave the stage. If your intention is to genuinely improve someone's life, organization, or outcome, influence becomes responsibility, not a deception. So for me, when I get a business owner that decides to invest in the Move Swiftly system and they start using it the right way, I know that the manipulation was done for the right reasons, because it's going to make the organization better. That's what's going to happen. All right. There's no getting around it. So there's not a negative thing. You got what you paid. You got more than what you paid for, because I'm coming at you with a bargain because of the lifetime. If you use it the right way, the lifetime of money is going to save you in terms of employee retention. But it's not anything that's just about me.
It's about making the overall organization better and removing the turnover. All right. So to do that, to be that conviction, to have that conviction that I have, to have the confidence and the ability to talk about it the way I talk about it. Number two, you got to solidify the system, man. Got to solidify. You can't be flip flopping around and just doing what somebody shows you. Solidify your system. You heard me talk a little bit about the whole McDonald's example in today's Move Swiftly Thought, but your system has got to be so motherfucking on. I'm telling you, man. Listen, first person I learned systems from. Shout out to my guy. Matter of fact, let me look him up. I haven't talked to him in a while. I see him all the time on Jason Whitlock's show. But the first person that really taught me about systems, this guy right here, man. This guy right here, Dre Baldwin. Didn't you see DreBaldwin.com? I paid for coaching with him. Listen, man, when you talk about systems, you talk about staying on point and really putting content out like systems. This guy right here, founder, work on your game. Wow, you see what I mean? Like, as soon as you hit it, it's keynotes. You can book them. There's not a whole lot of fluff, and we know exactly what we're getting when we're getting him. It's let me look up work on your game real quick. Let me look it up real quick. Work on your game. You see the amount of stuff that let me work on. See, first thing that pops up. First thing that pops up, join the circle, presence, all that. This was the first person that really taught me the power of having systems. And if you want to manipulate, I wonder if it might be there. I'm not, but let me just right here, you'll see it. Discipline, systems, elite execution. Solidify your system. Without a system, manipulation is dirty. Not feels it is dirty, right? With a system, it feels structured. When you know your framework, again, the same way I know my framework, move swiftly, skilled, well-informed, front team, plus LY, lift yourself. All right, when you know your framework, guilt evaporates. Just like in education, introducing advanced math concepts early through manipulatives isn't harmful. It accelerates growth. In business, the same applies. If you build a rock-solid system that genuinely improves performance, clarity, and accountability, you go from one client to 200. All right, from one client to 200 clients, just like that. Without a system, you go from one lucky sale to begging for the next. Systems remove randomness. Systems remove insecurity. Systems justify the influence. You don't have structure. If you don't have structure, you shouldn't be persuading any, not even you shouldn't be you can't persuade anyone. You can't without a structure. You can't. You're just fucking talking, right? You're not actually getting anything done. You're just talking. You're just talking. Great John Wooden once said, you never want to mistake activity for achievement. Just because you're busy doing something doesn't mean it's actually working. All right. Number 3, you see it right there. Develop the thick skin. Be honest. This process is not easy. All right. Rejection, it sucks. Yes. You will question yourself with the first person that tells you they don't want to do whatever it is you're trying to get them to do. You will want to quit. You will get ignored. You will be misunderstood. It's part of the game, guys. If you want to manipulate people in the right way, the thick skin has to be developed. And you got to believe so hardly that when the rejection comes, you almost get to the point where you're like, damn, at least I know I'm doing something right because I'm getting rejected. Once I start getting rejected, that's how I know something is happening. If everyone's just liking what I'm doing, hey, it's not. It may feel good in the moment, but at surface level, it's not actually getting anywhere. Right? So you must develop a thick skin. It's part of the game. Manipulating people the correct way, meaning influencing them towards something that benefits them, requires emotional durability. I could complain about all the extra duties I have to handle at the school I coach at. So all the things I do at the school that I coach, again, I'm not going to put the name of the school out there, even though some of you guys probably know who I'm talking about, the ones who know me personally. But I could complain about all the extra duties I'm asked to handle at the school I coach at, right? But when I think about it, I think about the men who coached me, the people who coached me, the ones that, put a lot of time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears into coaching me and making me the man I am today. They structured the way they structured the practice, the standards that they held, the influence that they have on me, even to this day, years later. And I say, bring it the fuck on. Absolutely. Absolutely. When I'm asked to do something, whether I hate it or I just love it, dislike it, it's like, bring it on, because I know it's making me stronger. I know it's making me that rare breed, that valuable employee in which I want to teach other people to do. So if rejection breaks you, all right, if rejection breaks you, your mission isn't solid enough. You're just not solid enough in terms of your mission if rejection breaks you, all right? So here's how to work through it. Number 4, as you see, arm yourself with information. All right, arm yourself with information. One of my favorite movies is a movie called Higher Learning, starring Lawrence Fishburne, Omar Epps, and Ice Cube and the boys. But way back in there, my sister told me to watch it years ago when I was in college. The one of the lines that has stuck out, and I actually for a while I had it recorded on my phone, and I would listen to it before like I take runs and stuff like that. But it was the Lawrence Fishburne's character. He was a college professor, and he was talking to Omar Epps and Ice Cube, who were the 2 students at this college. And Lawrence Fishburne tells them, look, information is power. If you do not have the information, one cannot seize power. You have to become intellectually competitive or mentally competitive or something like that. I might have got that last part wrong, but he was basically saying information is power. Information is the power. All right. And, you know, Omar Epps' characters, I'm just a pawn like everybody else. He goes, oh, but used the right way, a pawn can create a checkmate, right? Used the right way, you can make the right moves and understand who you are if you have enough information to put yourself in position to be checkmate. Even if you're a pawn, even if you look at yourself as a pawn, you can make the right moves in the chessboard. Again, you don't know this because it's not set up that way. But if you're playing chess, you're talking chess. If you're a pawn, you can do something to make it so you create checkmate. You can. You just got to know who you are going in and know what you're about going on. Know the cards that you have going in. And that's where you got to arm yourself with information. Information is power, not just to win arguments. All right. Information is not just about winning arguments, but you can see patterns. When you have information, you can see patterns. All right. So when you build the habit of studying and observing and gathering information, you start identifying narratives and including the false ones, right? For example, as a Black man, right? I've noticed that regardless of gender, ethnicity, age, there are times where I'm always labeled as someone who gets angry quickly. So what do? I gather information, I observe the patterns, I document, this one's big, I document the behavior, and I process it intelligently. Information allows you to dismantle stereotypes. Information allows you to correct misconceptions. And information protects your influence. If you don't know the landscape, you can't responsibly influence it. All right. So without the information, you're just talking. All right. And final one, I'll close you guys out soon. Final one is cannot get too high. You cannot get too low. Can't get too high. Can't get too low. This is a lifetime process. Everything we're talking about here, getting influence and manipulating people in the right way and all that kind of stuff. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen one day and then, okay, I'm done. No. The minute you get that influence, the minute you get to the point where you can manipulate people in the right way, you know what? It's going to last a lifetime. It's not something that's going to end anytime soon. So get fucking used to it, right? Get used to it because it's not ending at all anytime soon. So you can't get too high. You cannot get too low, all right? It takes a lifetime. The rejections, yes, they can crush you. The praise can inflate you to the point where you start thinking you're on top of the world. Both of them are dangerous. Whether the rejections, it's crushing you, whether the praise is making you feel like you're you can't do any wrong. Either way, if you go too extreme, either way, they're both going to be dangerous. Just look at what's happening to Floyd Money Mayweather, right? Right now, again, we're talking about the money team, and he was, I remember him on the Pivot podcast on the phone, like, yeah, man, I'm going to get this jet. You're going to drop me there. Now he's doing fights, just to, again, this is the assumption. I hope it's not true, but what's been out there is that he's doing the fights because he's lost. He took a hit, right? You cannot get too high, cannot get too low. They're both dangerous. If you get too low, you'll quit. If you get too high, you'll lose discipline. Manipulating people positively is a balancing act. It's a balancing act, and you can't let applause define. You can't let the criticism destroy you. Stay centered, all right? Influence steadily, improve daily, detach emotionally from the extremes, and always come back to the original question. Is it leading to a positive outcome, all right? Manipulation is not the enemy. Selfish manipulation is. They see we got to add that. Manipulation in itself is not the bad thing. It's the selfish manipulation that fucks people up, all right? You are influencing people every day, your staff, your customers, your children, your audience. The question is whether you're doing it accidentally or intentionally. If your business owner is serious about building a structured system positively influences your employees and customers, book a meeting with me. Again, you can book all that at, let me put it up on the screen here. Yes, you can book a meeting with me at as1c.com. We'll break everything down and we'll talk about how you get a structured system in your organization and build it from all standpoints, personal, financial. We have it all. It's all encompassing, everything employee development here. That is what we do. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this out. We will be back next. Well, we're here on this video every single day, but in terms of the live stream, we'll be back Monday and Tuesday with another theme. But we do new videos every single day, and everything that you may need as a business owner, all of that is available on makeitmove.com. Book your meeting with me on as1c.com. Everyone out there, you guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.